On a serious note, this is an absolutely fantastic sounding amplifier by Vox.
It is. Vox, incredibly kind of classic British amp manufacturer, one of the original kind of sounds of the 50s and the 60s. Probably made most famous, I guess, by seeing bands like the Beatles and the Shadows using amps like this. But they've, you know, they've kind of stayed through. Even nowadays, you've still got classic bands using them. Lots of kind of Britpop indie type bands.
Well, almost every band I can think of that wants like really great, dedicated clean tones and crunch tones will have a Vox in there somewhere.
Could be anyone from, you know, The Edge is a big kind of Vox user. Loads of cool bands. Anyway, so the AC series, you're probably best known for the AC30, which is the 212 30 watt Class A combo. Then there's a baby brother of that called the AC15. And there's even a baby brother of that called the AC4. And that's what this is. Now, normally, when you buy the AC4 from Vox, you get a 4 watt mass-produced Chinese amp in a cabinet that's about that big, and it costs you about £180, something like that, maybe under £200, don't quote me on that, but something like that. And this year Vox decided to do a hand-wired bigger version of it, so it's still a 4 watt amplifier, but because it's a bigger cabinet and a better quality speaker.
It's 4 watts?
It's 4 watts, yeah. It sounds completely different to the little Diddy 4 watt thing. So if you're kind of, don't get confused. I personally got confused when they first told me they were bringing out a hand-wired version of the AC4, and told me the price. I was just like, no one's going to pay that just to have a hand-wired version of the little thing like that.
I'm shocked. I didn't know. I had no idea this was 4 watts. Before we even started the review, Lee was like, guarantee, Rob, you're not going to like this, but I will like it. and I was like, you're probably right. I think it's fantastic. 4 watts. Yeah. It's got some headroom.
It's definitely competing, although it's definitely competing in that arena of things like the little Fender Blues Junior or, you know, other little classic boutique little 5 to 10 watt amplifiers. So it's a crazy little amp, sounds cool. It's basically got the top boost section of an AC30, so a gain and treble and bass control. It's got a master, excuse me, it's my Haribo's just repeating on me there.
Haribo.
Is that how you say it? Or Haribo. Haribo. How you doing? So it's got a master volume on the end here, and it's got a foot switchable hot and cool drive sort of section. We're using it with a reverb pedal and a full tone fat boost pedal in the front end to just give it some. Give it some. But I'll tell you when I'm switching those on. And Rob's going to play a bit on a Strat and I'll play a bit on a Les Paul.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
It sounds really, really good. It's got that classic crunch break-up blues tone, hasn't it, really?
That's good. I've got the amp fairly well gunned here. The gain and the volume are both about 3/4 of the way up. So what Rob will have to do is demonstrate how to clean it up. I mean, if you played it quieter, you could just clean the amp on its own. But what I like to do in these kind of demos is we gun the amp fairly hard to give it some oomph, and Rob will basically play with the volume control. And then what I'll do as well is, whilst Rob's playing, I'll do a selection of different kind of, you know, lushy kind of open chords and solo stuff. I'll kick in the fat boost. In fact, what I'll do first, you get this little pedal with it.
Oh.
dinky little Vox pedal. I'll kick this in first, which takes us to the hot mode on the preamp, and then what I'll do is I'll kick the fat boost in as well, and you can just hear how to sort of send it over the edge.
But bear in mind, there's no effects loop.
No.
So our reverb pedal is going in the front. So if we're going to overload the reverb, we're going to get a bit more verb when it goes.
Yeah,
so
I'll turn it down.
If I was playing a gig with this, I'd turn the reverb off when I'm playing lead, and I'd bring it back on for rhythm stuff for clean.
Yeah, it's a good shout.
So I've got a captain here to do that for me.
Yeah, because I'm his bitch. whilst we're talking about it, the amp comes loaded with a 12-inch Celestion G12M. Obviously the oversized cabinet compared with the normal AC4, but it does have an extension speaker output. So if you want to run this into a 412 or a 212, you can do that.
Can I get fries with it?
You can indeed, yes.
My new pedal. One of the holy grails of tone.
Right.
So amazing.
But back to the amp demo. As we've sold out of these and you can't buy one even if you wanted to.
Oh, so cold. Let's not do that.
Okay, so where were we? Where were we? We basically just run through some of the sounds.
But here's the thing, here's the thing.
Shoot it with a Les Paul?
What you notice is that Lee is going, what else is there to talk about? Other than the fact that this amplifier sounds amazing and is really simple and just does exactly what you wanted to do. You plug in a guitar lead, you plug in your awesome pedals and you get a great sound. You couldn't gig with it, I don't think.
Well,
no, you couldn't.
Say that.
Well, if you wanted a clean tone, you couldn't gig.
You'd have to mic it, wouldn't you?
You couldn't get. There's not enough headroom for.
Do you know what? I tell you though, no word of a lie, and this is true. I meant to say this earlier on. The whole reason why we're demoing this today is I honestly thought that the hand-wired AC4 was a hand-wired version of the little Diddy one, which I think is okay, but nothing special. And we had a guitar player called Jerry Donahue. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Jerry Donahue, he was big player back, played with bands like Fairport Convention, but he more recently, well not more recently because he's been doing it for years, played in a trio called the Hellcasters with a guy called John Jorgensen and another Telecaster player, but crazy kind of country blues player. And he came down to do a guitar masterclass for Andertons, and he turned up with one of these, and he played to about 70 or 80 people in a hotel function room. With this and a microphone in front of it through a little PA.
Really?
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
Yeah. So I mean, it wasn't a gig with a drummer and everything, but it was.
That's what I meant.
He had
I think if you had someone like Stick smacking shit behind you, and you had a bassist knocking out some low notes, and you had a singer, that would be drowned out.
Then you'd buy the AC15 or the AC30,
that's what I mean.
wouldn't you?
I think this is a fantastic recording amp.
Yeah.
Like, brilliant for recording.
Great for home.
Perfect for home use. You could rehearse a little bit with it, I think.
Yeah.
And that's really where this sits with me. But the thing is, end of the day, really simple to use and amazing, great tones.
Killer tones. And completely hand-wired as well. So, again, it's...
And where is it made?
It'll be made in the Far East, I think, all the Vox stuff nowadays. Let me just triple check. Vietnam. This is a Les Paul traditional, so got no coil tapping, no nothing, just straight up proper. Not that coil tappings aren't proper or anything.
Is it a coil tap or a coil spinning? It's got the proper tuning too.
The bass end on that's fabulous.
Yeah.
Classic rock there.
Wow! So I'm using the Wampler Pinnacle. Oh, just thank you. I'll have a pink one instead. I'm using a Wampler Pinnacle, my favourite overdrive pedal. And I've got it to the modern setting because what I'm going to see is, well, I think we just proven actually, is we can get dirty, saturated filth out of this traditional sounding crunchy, like the face of Grimace. Wow!
You know what? It reminds me. Remember we spent months trying to do a sound like Brian May for under £1,000 and we couldn't do it? So let's just take the Wampler pedal out. This is just the amplifier but with the top boost hot mode engaged.
Thank you, Captain!
Well, that's the closest we've probably ever got to sounding like Brian May.
Ironic, because every other time we've ever tried, and we have tried at least twice, it's never worked. Yeah, I'm really, really impressed with this. I think
So
this
there
is
you
great.
go.
So how much does this cost?
About £600. I have no idea how long it's going to be in the Vox catalogue for. I have a feeling it's slightly limited to limited at the moment, so I don't think they're going to carry on making this forever. But I think it sounds great. Sounds great. This with a nice reverb pedal doesn't even really need a drive pedal. The amount of drive that you've got,
Yeah, it's got a lot of drive. It's perfect for death black metal. If you're into Pantera, I wouldn't look any further than this. Genuinely think it's probably all you'd ever need.
Have you heard that Pantera are reforming, but with Hank Marvin on guitar?
I had heard about that.
Yeah.
I thought that might have just been a vicious rumour though.
And apparently he's going out with a stack of like 75 of these amplifiers, the whole like backline. And instead of having Jack Daniels across the top of all the amps like Dimebag used to have, he's just got cups of tea on top of every one. I've had an idea for a new series of videos called
Inappropriate
Rigs of any amplifier. It's going to be a series.
That's really good.
I'm going to play some Joe Pass on a PV 5150 tomorrow.
What it shows though is that it's like a chameleon.
It fits to the use eyes can go in different directions at the same time.
It changes colour to whatever environment you put it in. Anyway, I've been Rob Chapman.
And I've been the captain.
Salute, Pick.
Can you tell it's the end of the day?
Boom!